spot over there where there were pillars where you come out, but this is the spot. The way that they confirmed it too is the plaster from when it was made. There were coins stuck in the plaster dating back to the time of Christ. Wow. And prior to. So we know finally that the reason it only goes this far is I believe it's an Aramean church or a Greek Orthodox church that owns the rest of it, and they kind of are like, no, this is our property, don't do it. But they might eventually excavate the whole thing with give and take, but who knows. But you're sitting on the spot where Jesus sees a man who is, notice, he didn't become blind, he is born blind. And so the miracle is very unique. He reaches, he spits in the ground, makes mud and puts it on his eyes. It's like gross, right? That's an image that he is not doing anything weird. He's actually doing what God did in Genesis. He's creating eyes. It's a divinity statement. And this is the interesting thing. Up at that point, they said anyone who is associated with this guy Jesus, and this is the corrupt mafia controlling the temple at that time, anyone who says they're with this guy will throw you out of the temple. What does Jesus do? He heals his eyes. He says, go to the pool of Siloam, or Siloach, which in the Greek word that's used here is the same word that's used for an apostle. And what is an apostle? We usually say missionaries, but I remember being at the Dream Center in California and realizing, man, some people plant churches and 5 years later it's 100 people, and you show up there and it's like 5,000 ministries all networked. A mission, an apostle is a sent forth one in the power of the kingdom they come from to establish the authority of that kingdom with full force instantaneously. And so he says to this guy, go to the pool of Siloam and then present yourselves to the priest, which was according to Levitical law, to validate it. They don't want to talk to Jesus. He says, fine, you don't want to talk to me? You can talk to one of my friends. You don't want to accept me? Try denying this one. And then it says the very interesting, subtle thing right after the event where he presents it. And he says, who are you? You the guy born blind? The parents are like, he's our kid, but as far as what happened, we like staying in this church, so we will space ourselves from him. And so the guy says, right, he says, I don't know, all I know is this. I was blind, now I see. And afterwards, they say that on the last day of the feast, Jesus stood up in a loud voice and said, if any, you can finish this for me, if any of you come to me, right?
Mm-hmm. Any of you who thirst, and I will give you rivers of living water.
Come to me, any of you thirst, come to me and I'll give you rivers of living water. Now, living water is what flows from a spring naturally, not what's in a cistern, not what's captured by rain. What is the only source of ancient living water in this area? You just came through it. Mm-hmm. Here's what happened in the time of Hezekiah, between the time of Hezekiah and the time through the Second Temple period to the time that Jesus is in, they added a ceremony to the great and last day of the feast where they would do a parade down to the pool of Siloam, get a cup of water, and spill it at the altar as a libation or a water offering, saying, thank you, Lord, for giving us the living water, the water of life, celebrating what Hezekiah did. And it's as if they're not going to listen to Jesus. They're kicking everybody out. Jesus is almost, you can picture him sitting on the wall saying, you still ignoring me? Hey, just listen, as you're going to get that water for the festival, I want you to know, if you come to me, I'll give you water. It's eternal life. That's it. Bye-bye.